Hello and welcome to the House of the Lunar Champion. This is my main character. She's very special because she's one of the first characters that I ever created in ESO, nearly 9 years ago now. And this is her house, and I'm going to give you the guided tour of this house, which looks deceptively small from the outside, but I promise you it's not. The Hall of the Lunar Champion is a reward house that you get in-game for completing a particular zone elsewhere, which is the Dragon Country. Anybody who's played the game knows that already. So this is the entrance hall. I just want to say that as a kind of an advisor before I get going, if you've never played the game, then basically when you're given a house in the game, it is completely empty. There is nothing in it except the floor and the walls. Basically, it's empty. So every single thing that you see in here, I have placed myself. There are actually 700 individually placed items in this house in total. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you look at them all, but just bear that in mind as we're going around. So this is sort of my grand entranceway, if you like, and I've set it up as sort of a sleeping area. This is Bastian, who is one of my companions in the game. He kind of like fights alongside you when you're playing the game. Over here I've got my armory, so I can test and change my armory, repair my gear, etc. from my house, which is kind of cool. These are all collectibles. I have loads and loads of these statues. This isn't all of them. I couldn't actually put them all out in the house because I ran out of space. But this is a collection of some of them. They're pretty cool. Over here, there are 3 portals in this house, as you can see in this hallway. They each lead to 3 very distinct areas. So I think what I'm going to do first is take you through to this area. So this takes you outside to like a little mini house, if you like, just on this overlook, which is kind of cool. Underneath here I've used this as a kind of stable for some of my mounts in game. Again, this isn't all of them because I can possibly place all of my mounts in one house because there is a restriction to how many you can have out at a time. I love the cinch mounts just because they're so silent when they're running. I find the horses like really noisy with the clippity cloppity, gets on my nerves after a while. I love these cinch mounts, they're my favourite. This black cinch was one of my favourite mounts and still is, and I used to use it a lot. I have another one now that has flaming feet and stuff that come out of the bottom of it, which is kind of cool, which I use now. I've got a baby dragon over here, just sort of chilling, hanging out, because you know this is Dragon Country. My character is an assassin, so she's very, very good at stealth. She's very good at thievery as well, and as any thief knows, you need to have your treasure pile. So yeah, there's my treasure pile there, stashed underneath my house. Up here I've got like this little veranda that's set up, so there's like a bar area here, so you can kind of come and hang out after your adventures and look out across the beautiful landscape that is elsewhere. It's a very, very beautiful zone, this. I really, really do like it, and when the sun is out, it's kind of the end of the day here at this time of day in game, so it's a little bit overcast, but when the sun's out, it's a very, very beautiful place to sit. And like I say, you can sit here and have something to eat and drink at the end of the day. In here, it's just basically a place for you to sleep. So it's just got a bed, sort of very simply laid out here. Some clothes there that, you know, she needs to do a washing. She hasn't done that for a while. So yeah, that's just very basically small little area that is to one side of the house. So if we go back into the hall, I will take you into one of the other areas. So if we walk across here, and I'll take you into this. This is another outside area, but a very, very different one. The Hall of the Lunar Champion is basically a ruined, or part ruined temple, as you can see here. Now again, this came with just basically the walls and the floor, and a lot of the structures and stuff that you see here, for instance like these archways, etc., are things that I've built. A lot of these like temple looking things are also things that I built and placed in the house. I've got some really cool statues and stuff. There's some really cool elsewhere statues, I love them. And again, I've made kind of like a meditation area because my character is a Khajiit, and they are very spiritual beings. or very spiritual race, and so they do. It kind of fits with the lore of the characters that she would have an area like this to sort of chill out in. There are various lore objects in here, which I'm not going to go into the history of those. If you played the game, you know what these are. There is an altar up here with the wind chime bells, which again is another lore object. It's kind of cool. Makes a kind of nice little music when you come up to it. And again, another little seating area over here so that you can bring some of the players over and you can kind of just sit here and sort of hang out if you wanted to. I created like this sunken fountain in the middle here just for a sort of a bit of a detail. I love the sound of running water anywhere, whether it's in game or anywhere else. So it's kind of really relaxing to kind of just sit there and listen to that. We go back over here. This structure that you can see here, these stairs, none of this existed and none of the structure in front of it was there either. I built it because it took me a while to do this. The logistics of it was a little bit difficult because of the angles. But once you climb to the top of these stairs and get to the top, there is another portal up here that takes, that again is another lore object which I'm not going to get into. It's a moon gate, but I'm not going to get into that. I wanted to build this structure because there is a beautiful view of that waterfall that you cannot see when you're down on the ground level. So I built this platform basically so that I could get up here to look at that waterfall. So that's why I built that, but yeah, it is kind of cool. I really like the look of that. Okay, so if we go back down, we'll take the shortcut. She's a cat, she can land on her feet. So yeah, again, some more statues and stuff here. I do love my statues, some beautiful statues in this game. I've got my gargoyles there. They have got carved out pumpkins in their mouths, in case anybody's wondering. I just thought it would look really cool, and they fitted really well. So yeah, that's a carved pumpkin inside a gargoyle's head. In here, this is my trophy room. So just open the gate to go in. So these are some of the trophies and stuff that this character has basically made over the years. I have played this game since, well, I player tested it before it was released, so I played it for a number of years. So these are some of my trophies, it's not all of them. So you can see by conquering certain bosses, dungeons, etc., you get rewarded with a lot of these trophies. So yeah, this is her trophy room. So she comes in here really, you know, just to sort of remind herself of all the things that she's achieved in her life. And then we come out of here and we go into the third area. Like I say, this house took me a very, very long time. It probably took me at least a year to finish the decoration of this house. It was quite a task because it's so huge. And this is the final area. So again, we've got a little bit more of a meditation garden. I really liked planting. I did a lot of planting here. I put all these trees and stuff down here because this was very open. And I wanted to sort of make it feel a little bit more closed in. So I put all the trees sort of overhanging this fountain. Again, I love my fountains. Put some like beautiful blue flowers in there as well, sort of growing out of it, which kind of looks nice. Over here to this side, I have some little sort of marquee tents, I guess. There's a sleeping area there. Here I've got my merchant, my Bihari, who is my smuggler, so she's my fence, and my banker, so I don't need to go into town to do all those things. I can just basically come back to my house, sell everything that I don't want to these, and store anything in my bank that I need to keep. It just makes it kind of handy. And then over this side, I have a few more sort of areas set up, and these are crafting areas. So this is the alchemy bench, and then in here I've got everything else. So I've got the enchanter's table, I've got jewelry station, blacksmithing, cooking, woodworking, and clothing. So I can basically craft anything that I want here straight from my house, which is kind of cool. Here's my little kitty chilling out on the bench. There is also quite a cool feature to this house, which is this statue, which is a very cool statue, and if I walk up, it's a dragon, a fire-breathing dragon. You can actually change that so that it breathes ice or lightning, but I prefer the fire, so it's set to breathe fire currently. But yeah, that's a super cool statue, I love it. And it fits with the zone because this is Elsewhere is all about dragons, and that's kind of the lore. This is a tomb, which again fits with the lore of the game, if you know what it is, and you can actually click on it. It is interactable.
I took 700 paramours. Oh, Zar remembers it well. But there weren't more than 614. This one is sure.
So that's one of the main characters in the game. There is, like I say, a lot of lore associated with that, but it's kind of cool that the devs gave us that feature to have that in our houses. So I kind of give it pride of place out here at the front. And again, another huge statue right up there, which is again cool. Now, one of the things that I loved about this house is not only the view over here. You have a beautiful view there of the Halls of Colossus, which again is another lore event, which I won't mention. If you played the game, you know what it is. There's also this really beautiful waterfall as well. I love, like I say, running water, the sound of running water. So a house that has a waterfall in it is like joy to me. So I love that waterfall and I love that view. And there was no way to get down there. This is a sheer cliff where I'm standing now, and the devs never gave us an opportunity or a way down to the lower level so we can get a closer look at this. And so you couldn't jump down because you died. There's fish in the water at the bottom. The devs put them in there on purpose, basically because they don't want us going down there. But I was not going to be defied, so I built a staircase to allow myself to go down there. So let's go down to the stairs and I'll show you what's at the bottom. Because once I got down here, I loved the space so much that I wanted to utilise it. So I built this staircase, and again, this took forever to try and work out. And when I got down to the bottom, I decided to build my own kind of ruined temple. So I built all of this at the bottom, and like I say, you couldn't actually get down here, it was just all water. So I had to build from the ground up in order to make this. Now, this bridge I put in, now you can't actually, you can see there, my character can't actually go any further because there is an invisible wall here. This is kind of like the limit of the house. But I put this bridge in to make it look like that you could almost walk that way, and that the event, you know, at one time those two bridges, they kind of did interlink, so that you could get to the Halls of Colossus, which kind of looks kind of cool. And again, there's just, I put a lot of ivy. I wanted to make this look kind of really overgrown and old. So yeah, it's supposed to be sort of what would have been a part of a much bigger structure. So again, some really beautiful statues. That's a beautiful Khajiit. The Khajiit are a cat people, if you don't know game or the lore of the game. As you can see, my character is a cat. And yeah, so there's some sort of tombs and memorials here to various Khajiit. There is another moon temple pad here that you can use for teleportation, and there's also this. Now this is Moon Gates. Now this thing is huge, and I decided to put it here because of all the places it could have gone. I did originally have it at the top of the house in the courtyard, but it's just massive and it is also really, really loud. So I decided to put it down here, and I put this stained glass window in the middle of it. That shouldn't really be there, but I kind of think it looks cool. And you can see the waterfall just behind it there. So yeah, I've got this moon gate, which again is a lore object. If you know the game, you know what the purpose of that is. And then underneath here, I built this dock, and this is kind of where I started when I came here. I built sort of like this hard standing dock, so I had something to build up from. And I decided at the end to create sort of like a fishing area. So I've got, you know, my boats and stuff out here that you could, you know, basically take out and go fishing if you wanted to. Got my fishing poles and stuff over here. So yeah, I've got a little fishing area at the bottom. So this house is, like I say, it was a work in progress for a very, very long time. It has a lot of objects in it that took a long time to get, to make, to then decide what to do with them and where to place them. So this house was a sort of a labour of love over quite a few years, you know, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Over here, this is this bell. I love this bell. You have to ring the bell every time you come past here. And I also really love these lights. They're like in little glass shades, which is really cool. These little candles, I really love those. So there's like lots of little details and stuff in this house that of objects that I kind of found over time that I really, really liked. So that is the Hall of the Lunar Champion. I hope that you enjoyed that tour, and I will be doing some more housing tours of some of my other characters soon. Some of them do have a history behind them as to why the houses look and feel the way that they do, because I do create sometimes backstories to some of my characters. So that might be of interest to some people who are interested in sort of like role playing and that kind of stuff. And other ones are just linked to the crafting professions in the game. So there's a little bit of everything. So if you're interested, please come back and see the rest.